what's up, everybody? I'm Joel Madden, and this is Artist Friendly. On this episode, I'm talking to comedian, musician, author, and actor Reggie Watts. Let's go.
That's my kind. I don't want no bad times. I don't want to have bad.
Do you feel like you're a musician first or a comedian first?
A comedian.
If you would consider yourself either, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
For me as an outside person, I would look at you and go like, okay, it's a brand of comedy and entertainment and music. Do you even think that way, or you just do your art and it is what it is? Like, is that a weird question?
No, not at all. I mean, it's something I've thought about. I mean, technically, I would say like I'm probably a musician first.
Yeah.
I would say because, I studied piano at age 5 till 16, and I was in school orchestra playing violin for 8 years, and had my first band in high school. And then when I moved to Seattle in 1990, and I was in, I think I counted I was in about like 14 bands.
Wow.
15 bands.
Yeah.
And sometimes a keyboardist, sometimes a vocalist, sometimes front person, sometimes in the background, all kinds of music, every kind of music you'd imagine, world music, punk, rock, metal, hybrid shit, trip hop, drum and bass, whatever. So I definitely have a shit ton of existence as a musician. However,
tons of experience.
Yeah, tons of experience. And through that whole like 90s, I mean, and it's like, well, you guys kind of know about it. Like your career path kind of goes towards like the changeover.
Yep.
You were like right on that edge.
Right on the cusp.
Right on the cusp. Like you guys like were so lucky, but also probably saw a lot. But yeah, so for me in the 90s in Seattle, obviously Seattle turned into like, it went nuclear in like what, 92, 93, something like that. I moved there in 90. So I saw the quiet town. That was like quiet as hell when it was late at night, and you drive around, you're like, I got this whole town, whatever I want to do, nighttime's my time, to every label having a satellite set up somewhere in there, and like every club.
Every band's getting signed.
Every band's being signed. They're looking everywhere. It's like
bands are moving there, actually.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of bands. I mean, Edie Brickell's band, the whole band moved up there. Everclear.
Yeah. Art Alexakis.
Yes.
Who was actually from Portland, I think, and moved up there.
Yeah, a lot of Portlanders moved up.
Yeah.
And also people up north, in Tacoma, people moved down, Kill Rock Stars, like all that. It was an exciting time period. I mean, it was insane. And then MTV Real World, which was the beginning of the end. But like, so living there as a musician was intense. But in high school, I also did drama, and I was a comedian, essentially. I did
improvisational good comedy is being able to just be funny on the spot.
Also it was just like the only way I could do it, because I'm just terrible at memorizing stuff.
Yeah.
I was horrible at it. I can remember music, but yeah, so throughout, interspersed in the 90s, I did comedy, and I did some sketch comedy as well.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until about 2002, 2003 that I made a hard shift to comedy.
Yeah.
And basically just played catch up with comedy compared to music, and just did comedy primarily for many years until I got the Late Late Show gig, where I had like technically it is a band. I put the band together, but it's not like a traditional band.
Yeah, but all that experience through all those bands and all that had to have lended itself to your ability to be able to do that every day on that level, which you maybe not think about, but that's at the highest level of entertainment, dealing with the varying kinds of artists and guests and ideas, and how, what bit they're going to do here or that. And then, so one part you're putting together a music program, on the other part you're participating in a bit of a theatrical presentation.
100.
Like, so school theater, dozens of bands, all this experience, even just hearing for 5 minutes your musical background, I go, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Not many people could get in there and be flexible enough. There's a lot of artists that are very rigid in like how they work, what they do, and it works for them for their like one brand of thing. But you have kind of this like improvisational Swiss Army knife thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's interesting.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Makes a lot of sense.
I mean, it's because I'm interested in everything.
Yeah.
That's why I played in all those bands. I mean, part of it was like to make rent, but like also I was like, well, what's it like to play in this kind of a band? What's it like to play in this kind of a band? oh, this is cool. Maybe we could do this kind of music, or like, oh, this is like a from scratch band. I'm not joining in on a band. Like, oh, we're all coming together making a band. What is the band?
Yeah.
Let's make the band, you know, because I was just interested in it. And that's the same thing with comedy. I was like, oh, what's stand-up comedy? You know, I started seeing David Cross, and David Cross was on a music label, you know, and
I love David Cross.
you know, I mean, like he was like one of the first guys who was like, oh, he's on a music label?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's awesome. He's rep by, but he's not a musician. And, you know, and then I heard like, you know, Eugene Merman was opening up for, I forgot, they were like a badass, like indie rock darling at the time, but he was opening up for them on tour. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. This crossover of comedians into music and rock music, and which isn't a new thing, but it kind of had a resurgence in like 1999, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then to see that, and that inspired me. And then, you know, going into comedy, and then comedy being blended and weird at that time, because I came in on the alt scene in New York. I moved to New York, and there was really only one place to perform at the time that I moved there. Same thing with Seattle. You know, it's like I moved to Seattle, quiet, blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden, and the same thing with New York. I moved there. There's one comedy night. Everybody, Kumail Nanjiani is performing there. Chelsea Peretti's coming through there. Maybe David Cross does a set on there. Like everybody that you see on TV now acting or has their own show, or Nick Kroll or those people.
Yeah.
They're all there. They were all in that scene. And then suddenly it just like blew the fuck up. And there were like 5 or 6 comedy nights that you could get up on. And so people were doing like 3 shows a night. And then the viral video thing came online. Like that was a first time thing.
Yeah.
And then of course comedy hit it big there. And then you got like TBS investing in Super Deluxe, and Super Deluxe doing the label thing that was happening like in Seattle, the parallel where they're signing all the comedians to make viral videos, to make them, you know? And so everybody got like really good budgets, and they were making these crazy videos, and it didn't quite work out, but it was a cool gold rush.
Well, it didn't work out in the sense of, I think, what people
for them.
Yeah, for them, because I think they were laying the foundation for what we know today. Like the pioneers, usually, most of them die.
You're right.
On the way to the frontier, you know, like it's interesting. Like there was this new format, and then everybody rushes in. It's all built on top of each other, right? And now the world that exists today with all these like creators that like older people from a different generation, a lot of them we by nature don't take seriously, because we're just not used to that format maybe. And it's like our parents almost like not taking us seriously. But I always remind myself that when I have the like first reaction to some young creator that's making like really viral stuff, and I'm like,
yes,
YouTuber.
Yeah.
You know, like my operating system just does not compute that as credible entertainment.
Yes.
And so I have to remind myself, because my kids will be like, Dad, check this out. It's hilarious, or it's this or it's that. As I've gotten older and my kids have gotten older, I'm certainly not like hating on any of them. And I am way open to like I give them their credit. But it's my first response as an artist, and then as like a consumer of art, to go like, those kids. But like, they wouldn't exist.
That's funny.
They wouldn't exist if that early wave of YouTube and content and viral and all that, like TikTok wouldn't exist if Vine didn't exist.
Vine,
and,
I know.
And I'm not a TikTok hater. At all. Like I still probably don't use it fully correctly, but like I don't love Instagram, but I'm on. I found my place.
I don't love anything.
I've found my place on it.
Sure.
Like I've got to interact. And so I do the things I do. Like I do this show, I do a couple other things I care about. That's what I do. Yeah. And it is what it is. But like I see the new generation of creators. It's not that I don't like them. It's I have to remind myself not to be the old guy with like a shotgun on the porch going like, get off.
Yeah, get off my lawn. Yeah, kids, get off my lawn. I know. It's funny. It's like the people I hang with, I mean, I don't have a family, I don't have kids, but like I say probably most of my friends, because some of my friends at my age usually have a family or something like that.
Yeah.
So for me, because I don't have those things, I'm like always at the clubs, you know, like checking out the new music.
Right.
So you know, not that you can't do that with a family, but
it's harder though.
It's just harder because you're just like, oh, the gravity is there. But for me, I'm like, oh, okay, well, what's going on in the Echo tonight? Or like, what's going on at Goldfish tonight? Or like my friend, or like some young DJ guy's like, hey, it messages me on Instagram. It's like, hey, I'm doing a set at this weird place. I'll be like, I'll be there. Because every time I go there, I hear stuff I've never heard before.
Yeah.
And it gives me reasons as to why people are doing what they're doing. And I have a new girlfriend, and she's just amazing because she's kind of like in touch with a lot of like the TikTok stuff or whatever. And so she'll show me stuff, and I have other friends. Like I guess my point is that I hang out in those spaces, but I also have a lot of friends that are Gen Zers or Zillennials, and they're always showing me stuff, and
that's good.
And we're always hanging, and it feels equal, and I think it's important for intergenerational exchange, especially among artists, because for them, they'll get frustrated about stuff, and I'll be like, listen, as someone who's farther along, I can tell you what you're worrying about is not something you need to be worrying about right now.
Yeah, like next year you'll be worried about something else and you won't even remember this.
Yeah, totally. Or next week.
Yeah.
You know? And then I always have to remind them the easiest part is the hardest part, or the hardest part is the easiest part.
Yeah.
Which is just have fun. Like, be in the community, don't be a dick.
Make stuff.
Be good at what you're doing. And like, if you get up every morning and you go, I can't not make stuff, then you're in the right direction.
Yeah.
Just keep making shit, have fun, hang out with your friends, be in the community, and you'll all rise up together. You know,
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. And I think that LA's got an amazing scene right now.
It does. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The way that all the artists are all interacting with each other.
Yeah.
How long have you been here?
I've been here since 2014.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I've been here since 2004.
Oh, okay. Sick.
I came
Well,
when
you've
I was
seen
like
a lot of change.
24. Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. Where did you move from?
From Maryland.
Okay.
That's where I'm from.
Maryland.
Maryland.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah, it's cool. Maryland's great.
Yeah.
I love it there. I just found that LA was more opportunity.
Sure. Yeah.
Art wise, you know, and it was exciting.
Yeah.
I'm from a small town, and
Yeah.
I always felt like I didn't fit in there.
Yeah.
Even though I love it.
Sure.
I
Of course.
Felt
Well,
like
going back's a different story.
Yeah. And I do think LA has got it's weird. It gets this weird rap everywhere else. And I guess there's some of that stuff here, but it's same anywhere else. There's plenty of cheesy people in New York or
Sure.
fake people in Chicago. I don't
Yes.
know. Like,
Yeah.
I think you can find it anywhere.
Totally.
There's so many good people here that I think are finding themselves, being themselves, and I love it. So, and raising kids here has been amazing. And I hear that too. Like, how are you raising your kids in LA? I'm like, I don't know. They're cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool place to grow up.
Yeah. I know. I try to explain to some of I'm from Montana, so sometimes I have friends that are like from Wyoming or Montana. That
Yeah.
It's like, are you afraid? Are you okay living in LA? Because they'll like read some news report about like a car's on fire or something, and like you know, there was like an assault somewhere, and they're like, yeah, it's happening everywhere. It's like, I personally have been here 10 years. And I've never encountered any of the things that you're reading about.
Me either.
And not to say that I never will. And I definitely understand that happens. But statistically, if you live in a very large city, a lot of shit's going to go down.
And it happens everywhere.
And it happens everywhere. It happens in my hometown. Like, you know, so my main thing is like, I love LA. I think LA is great. I love it because I love to drive. And this is the best city in the United States to drive in. And the car culture is really good. The art scene is great, like just like the visual art scene, like,
amazing,
like sculpture, painting, whatever, all the visual arts.
Oh my god!
You've got a strong music scene. You've got a strong electronic music scene.
Good comedy,
great comedy. This is an amazing comedy time, and for improv and sketch. And there's a lot of cool theaters, and theater's not as strong, but once in a while you'll get a good hit of theater. Dance was kind of strong for a second, but then now it's reorganizing itself. But anyways, the point is, like, I think it's a place where there's still tons of creativity, lots of opportunity, and I can't really think of another city in the United States that I would move to, having lived in New York already.
Yeah.
I don't know of any other place, and I have a lot of artist friends who are kind of the same, other than like rent being tough.
Yeah.
Being tough to buy a house.
Yeah.
Other than
that's the only part.
That's the only part.
I think they got wrong here.
Yes.
It's not as many people can participate in the real estate market. They've boxed everyone out.
They have.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin on that one. But aside from that,
yeah,
I think it's a really great place. Food's amazing.
Food's insane.
It's like best in the world, I think.
Yeah.
In LA.
It really is.
And I love New York. I lived there for a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I lived there for 11 years.
That's crazy. My older brother moved from New York. He was there for like 13 years, came to LA, was here for 10, and then went to Nashville, which he loves, which is cool.
Yeah, it's cool.